Hello everyone, I'm Reverend Christopher T. Scuderi of Universal Heart Ministry, and I'm coming to you today to provide you the top 10 tips for writing your own vows. So, the first question that typically comes up for people is, what makes you an expert to talk about this? Well, let me tell you. At this point in time, I've already been in ministry since May of 2011 and have performed well over 1,100 wedding and vow renewal ceremonies. So, in that time, I'd say I've got a pretty good handle on the things that take place in a wedding or vow renewal ceremony. So, let's get moving on my top 10 tips for you. So, just what are vows? Well, vows are your actual promises to each other. These are the things that you feel are most important to give and also to receive in return. So for an example, it's important to you to promise your everlasting faithfulness, or for them to vow to always be respectful and supportive of you. So tip number one, first things first, decide if you even want to write your own vows. Sometimes couples have a challenging time with this, so decide if both of you want to write your own vows. Some religions do require use of more traditional wording, while others may allow you to write your own vows, provided that perhaps you include specific phrases. For example, with Catholic wedding vows, it would be, I, Christopher, take you, Tina Marie, to be my lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. That would be a formal, traditional set of Catholic vows, and there are other religions that use that same set as well. Verify with the officiant performing your wedding ceremony what their requirements are, because if they are clergy, they might have set practice that they need to follow. Also, check with them if they do allow you to write your own vows. The next step is to decide if you're writing one set of vows that you both say to each other, or you each are writing your own that you'll be speaking to each other. Second tip, get clear on the type of vows. Now, type of vows, these can be promises only. They can be a combination of promises and messages of love, or they can be messages of love only. Though I would follow that up with an I do question that I would pose to the couple afterwards. That might be a set of vows as the I do question. So, promises only. What are your promises to each other? Those are what your actual vows are. So, I promise to love you. I promise to be faithful. I promise to cherish you, support you. Those are your actual vows. Now, messages of love. Those are things like, I love you. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. I've been looking forward to this day. I look forward to many years to come. Those are more messages of love. So you see, you can combine both your promises, your vows, and your message of love. Put them together. All right. Now, I mentioned the I do question that I utilize when couples do more messages of love. So it can be incorporated after their messages of love to each other. I would say the I do question have the formal wording only if that wording is not already included in what they're speaking to each other, because you don't want redundancy. Tip number 3, get clear on the tone for your vows. So formal traditional or religion specific can be very somber, very serious in nature, where modern contemporary tends to be a little more lighthearted or a more casual feel to it. You can have a mixture of both of those elements, so it's not too heavily laden one way or the other. So here's an example. I don't know if you can see this or not, so I'm going to go ahead and read it aloud. I, Christopher, and either take or choose you, Tina Marie, to be my partner in life. In front of our friends and family gathered here, I promise to love and cherish you throughout good times and bad times. I promise to put away my laundry, remember to rinse the toothpaste off the sink, replace the toilet paper roll when it finishes, and make you laugh every chance I get. Through it all, I promise to be supportive of your hopes and dreams, and will do my best to help make them a reality. I will remember this day and will love you always, faithfully. So you see, you can have a nice combination, and laughter goes a long way. A little bit of levity is good in a ceremony. My personal thoughts are, life is not all serious all the time anyways. This is a joyous occasion. You can have fun with it if you choose. All right, tip number 4, get clear on the length of your vows. So, set a general guideline for each other of maybe 3 to 5 sentences or 10 to 12 sentences for each person. Touch base with each other on how much you have so that you're within about the same range as each other. Now, plus or minus a sentence or two is typically not such a big deal, but if it tends to be more than that, feelings can get hurt. I'm going to relate to you a little experience. I had a groom that really went the extra mile. He wrote a page and a half for his vows. And, well, his bride wrote about that much. You could tell that he was hurt, he was crushed during the ceremony. So that's why I encourage you to, if you are writing your own vows, to touch base with each other to make sure you are within about the same range. All right, tip number 5, just write. So find a quiet space, write down or audio record your thoughts, whatever they are. So write or speak whatever comes to mind. And if you've got writer's block, well, you know what? That's okay. It happens to the best of us. And it's okay to set it aside for a moment and say, you know what? I need a break. I'll come back to it when I'm a little more clear-headed. Tip number 6, edit. Editing is very important. So trim things down a bit. Go through it, what you're writing out. Choose the very best of everything that you came up with. And you can take out or maybe reword things that are the same or too similar. Again, this is so we don't sound redundant. And no run-on sentences. Appropriate pauses at the appropriate times. So grammar is important, as well as punctuation. Touch base on how much you each have written. Like I said, make sure you're within about the same range. And once again, add or take out items as needed. Tip number 7, you can always do a Google search for ideas. Maybe you're a little stuck on what to say or how to say it. There are so many templates out there online that you can find that maybe you like a line from this one or a line from that one. Well, those can be meshed together to create a nice set of vows for you. So customizable templates and kind of fill in the blank type options are out there, available online. Though they can still be, again, personalized to the two of you. So you fill in the blanks with the words that speak to your relationship, your love for each other, your lives moving forward together. So once again, if you can't read this, I'm going to read it aloud so that you can see it. Hear it, excuse me. So I would say, Tina Marie, you are my best friend and my one true love. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Today, I take you to be my lawfully wedded wife and my partner in life. I promise you that I will be faithful, worthy of your trust, worthy of your love. I vow to honor you, to cherish you, love you, laugh with you, and cry with you, support you in all of your hopes and dreams. Now, sometimes here, people like the ending, till death do us part, or for as long as you both shall live. Now, if that is not the ending wording that you like, it can be something that resonates a little more fully with you. So I see, people saying, to the moon and back, I love you now and forever. So you can include that wording if you wish. Remember, it doesn't have to look a certain way. These are your vows that you are speaking to each other. All right, private moments. So sometimes short and sweet and to the point is often the best. And then maybe about 1 to 2 minutes long for your vows. Longer than that, I would say keep the more personal stuff to yourselves and share them during a more private moment with each other later. Tip number 9, practice reading your vows aloud. Can you get through the wording? Sometimes couples have a challenging time making it through the wording of their own vows. It might take them a minute or two. Omit or adjust wording that might be challenging for you. So, just going to give you an example here. There is some wording I have in, it's actually a ring pledge, but instead of saying unending, I've added the option of saying never ending, because I noticed that some of my couples had a challenging time and stumbled over the word unending. So go through the wording that you've written out, and if it's something you don't typically say, find another word that maybe is similar, has the same meaning, but you can speak a little more clearly. And of course, run it past a friend or your own officiant. Get their thoughts on it and make sure that there's a good sense of flow. It doesn't feel choppy, especially if you've chosen items from this one and that one and another one, okay? And of course, you can write it on a card or have it pre-printed out on cardstock. Now, what I do for all of my couples, as soon as they have written their vows, I have them email them to me. Number one, so that I can review them and make sure that spelling is correct, grammar, punctuation, all of that, and we've got a good flow. So it's nice and even and smooth all the way through. And then I also take the time to print out those vows on cardstock. So if you're outside and you're shaking, it's not shaking with the wind. So it's a little bit heavier stock for you to hold. All right, next up, top tip number 10, broad or specific. How to say it best. So, I promise to always support you is very broad. And I promise to hold your hand when you bravely kill a spider, even though they terrify you. That is specific. Broad promises. I promise to always stand by your side. I promise to laugh with you, cry with you, and comfort you. I promise to always remind you how much you mean to me. I promise to love you the way you have always loved me. Specific promises are things that are specific to the two of you and to your relationship. So pull in those wonderful, beautiful items about your love for each other. And focus on positives and things that you appreciate in your partner. Sometimes I will see couples that put in some kind of negative speech into their vows. Maybe there have been troubles in the past or difficult times, and they're still healing from those experiences, but placing those into your vows, in my personal opinion anyway, doesn't reflect well in your marriage moving forward. So I would say, if there are still issues, challenges that you've had that you're both working through, save those items for the personal, private moment, rather than in your public vows and moving forward in your marriage together, because this is included in your wedding ceremony. All right, here are 3 bonus tips for you. For the moment you read aloud your vows to your beloved, take a deep breath, take it in, and then just kind of let it out nice and slow before you start reading your vows. Focus on the person that you are making those vows to. Now, I know this can be challenging for some couples, especially the nervous, shy ones that don't even want to be up there for long periods of time. But looking out at your audience or looking at your officiant while you're speaking your vows, you need to be looking at the person you are making those vows to. Okay? Focus on your love for them, and if you are a little bit nervous, it's okay. Honestly, focus on the one you love. Let the whole rest of the world just fade away. Who goes first? Well, traditionally, if it's a bride and groom situation, I usually have the groom say his vows first, followed by the bride. I do this because my joke around that is, so it's a done deal and you can't get away. Now, if it's a same-sex couple, I ask who would like to go first. And if it doesn't really matter to them, I will typically simply just go in alphabetical order. That just makes it easier for me. If it is the same wording for both, sometimes couples choose to say them to each other at the same time. Now, bear in mind, that can be a little bit challenging. It's kind of a dance when you choose to do your vows that way. Or alternate back and forth. I say a line, or well, myself and Tina Marie, we're the couple at the moment. So I say a line, my wife Tina Marie says a line, I say a line, Tina Marie says a line. So you can see that back and forth element. Can be fun for the right couple. I'm going to say thank you for your time and encourage you to contact me with any questions you might have about any of my services. My contact information, my phone number is 801-577-0542, and you are welcome to call me or text me. My email address, universalheartministry@gmail.com. My website, of course, www.universalheartministry.com. You can find me on Facebook for weddings specifically. My page for that is A Blessed Union by Reverend Christopher T. Scuderi. And you can find me on Instagram at Universal Heart Ministry. Wishing you all a wonderful day and great success in writing your own vows.